So, I'm doing this again, aren't I? Haven't made a video like this since 5 years ago, I believe. But here we are. You know what they say, third time's the charm. So what's the topic for my first commentary in almost 6 years? Oh, god damn it! Well, since I cannot seem to escape from this game, or at least it haunts my dreams every night when I try to sleep, this commentary is about the Saints Row reboot. And here I thought making an hour-long video about the game would put it to rest, but sadly, nope! Well, let's back it up a little bit. Back in August of 2022, game developer Volition put out the Saints Row reboot, which was not met with high critical praise from both critics and fans of the games alike, myself included. It led to a lot of backlash at Volition, since Saints Row fans love to go ahead and attack Volition about, well, everything they do. It did lead to Deep Silver and Volition cutting ties and eventually shifted over to Gearbox Publishing, for better or for worse. However, a year later, assuming this video will be uploaded before 2023 ends, Volition had their studio shut down due to a failed business deal between Embracer Group and a gaming company in Saudi Arabia called Savvy Games. And because the deal fell through, Embracer had to close down studios left and right just to keep saving money, despite how successful some of the games were. Volition was one of those studios, unfortunately. A user going by the name Pizza Dad made a video talking about how people shouldn't celebrate the closure of Volition and how we should focus on helping and wishing the people who lost their jobs. Wait, my missing dad was a pizza?! I recommend you give the video a watch. It's something we don't get to see a whole lot here on YouTube when it comes between the struggles of the gaming community and how game developers end up losing their jobs all because a company that owns them tried to be greedy but failed miserably at doing so, and how many people shouldn't jump with joy when a studio closes down when something this scummy and greedy happens. This one user, on the other hand, going by the name of WHOADie, didn't like the video all that much. Now, fine, it's your opinion. If you don't agree with what Pizza Dad said, you're entirely to your own opinion, but this guy couldn't just leave it at that. No. He wanted to give his commentary on it, his words, not mine, and now we're here. Now look, I will say this right now, I am not a fan of the reboot. I did make an hour-long video about it, so I'm not saying any of this as a fan of the game or anything. But there are a few things I would like to talk about, and I figured, hey, if he felt like making a video about it, then why don't I? So, here we are. Let's get the shit started.
Looking at my phone in the bookstore when it appeared to me.
I only do these editorials every year or so because I don't really have that many topics to talk about at length that aren't about a specific video game. But with the recent news, it'd almost be weird to not talk about it, so I shelved my work, I scripted this out, and I guess I have to talk about it. Effective immediately as of August 31st, which is today, Volition, the developer of the Saints Row series, has been completely shut down by Embracer Group. There's a post in their LinkedIn and everything, it's official. This comes as kind of a shock. I had literally just seen a trailer for the DLC yesterday.
And this is the thing right here, I'm gonna pause it real quick. It ain't no shock. Not for the real Saints Row fans, not for people who've been there since Saints Row 1 and 2 like me, and had to suffer through Saints Row 3, you know what I'm saying, and who had to watch the downfall since Saints Row 3 through fucking Saints Row 4 and Get Out of Hell, Agents of Mayhem, and this bullshit reboot. Nah, it ain't no shocker. It ain't no shocker at all. We been seeing this coming, if you've been there from the beginning.
How exactly can you have predicted that Volition would have closed the doors since Saints Row III? Are you referring to the trouble with THQ, Volition's former publisher, before being bought by Deep Silver back in 2011, before they shut down just a year later? Because that's not what happened. Saints Row III managed to becoming the best-selling Saints Row game ever. I mean, it wasn't enough for THQ to stay afloat, sure, but it still made bank. I mean, if you were referring to Saints Row 4, then maybe. I mean, the game did sell less copies than Saints Row 3, but still, 1 million copies isn't something to scoff at either. Get Out of Hell wouldn't really matter since it was only a $20 expansion, let alone one in which the only assistance Volition gave out was the story and writing. The game itself was being developed by Danger High Voltage Studios. And Agents of Mayhem, buddy, if Volition was able to stay afloat after Agents of Mayhem, a game that actually sold very poorly, what made you think that it wouldn't be a shocker if all the other games Volition made post Saints Row 2 became the leading cause of Volition shutting down? You know, besides the fact that it's not the game that you want.
Rare footage never before seen by a significant girlfriend.
That, I'd be sad and a little frustrated, but I wouldn't wouldn't make a video about it. I'd hope for the best for the employees and just kind of move on with my day. Like, I got a PS3 video I'm working on, Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah, and that's the type of shit I was telling you about certain people who been, were promoting and patting fucking Volition on the back for that crap since Sanctuary 3 and 4. Yeah, y'all just accept any fucking thing. So that is not a big deal to people like you, of course. To of course you don't care.
Oh, you can just feel the salt resonating from this person. Just the amount of anger that is flowing through this individual. And it stays like this for the entire video, by the way. The whole video, he's just constantly getting mad over and over again. All because of Pizza Dad just saying that he wishes people at Volition the best of luck finding a new job. Did Volition and Pizza Dad, hurt you or something, buddy? Is that why you and everyone else have this hateful grudge against them?
And I'm not gonna call it innovation, but I'm not gonna call it anything else either.
Just a confirmation bias from people who just vehemently hate this game. Like, ignore the fact that Embracer Group had a $2 billion deal fall apart suddenly earlier this year. Ignore the fact
It's not our fault. Why should we care about any of that? That's not our fault. This is what I was just telling y'all earlier in the video. It's called supply and demand. That's not our fucking fault, not a Saints Row fan's fault. That's their own fucking fault. That just shows that they've been a fucking shit company and don't know what the hell they're doing. So stop trying to play on people's feelings about who's losing their fucking job. We don't care. It's not our fault. Why should we care? Because you care?
So I have a plethora of things I want to say here. Number one, it's not our fault. No one said that it was your fault. Pizza Dad's not blaming you or anyone else who doesn't like the game for the closure of Volition and the layoffs that happened. He specifically stated that it was entirely Embracer Group's terrible business deal that made the company, alongside other studios, close their doors and cost people their jobs. You're just trying to make it about yourself and acting like you're a victim in the scenario for some reason. You're not Gene Snitsky, my guy.
It's not my fault.
Number two, you keep on saying supply and demand this, supply and demand that, but you're not really explaining what you mean by it. It just comes off like you're a bit confused about how the term works, but still saying it because it's a big boy word to make you sound smart. Here, let me help you out with it. See, supply and demand works like this. Pretty much if a product's price is seen to increase, then the supply increases as well. But the demand for it declines because people don't want to pay that much money for just one item. However, on the other side of the spectrum, if the price and supply decreases, then the demand for it increases as people find the price for it to be cheaper. For example, it's the winter season, so demand for ice cream has been lowered while the price and supply for it has increased. On the opposite spectrum though, if it's the summer, people will buy ice cream in a heartbeat. The supply and price for it will decrease while the demand for it increases. That is pretty much the general consensus of what supply and demand is, and this applies for almost everything. No idea what your definition of supply and demand is, but it sure as shit ain't what you think it is. I mean, Google is your friend. You could at least use Google every once in a blue moon, you know?
that they shut down another developer, that being Campfire Cabal, who made a very, very successful game with Expeditions Rome, just shut them down. Ignore the fact that they are literally doing the same thing with Gearbox Publishing as we speak. No, it's the game I don't like, because SJW or whatever. Like, who needs facts when we have hot takes on games? No matter what they've done.
Oh, the facts already spoken. We know the facts about this game, and so that's why we don't give a shit about hot takes. Why would we give a fuck about hot takes when the proof is in the pudding? We saw what we saw. They gave us the information on this damn game, the information that we constantly told them we didn't want. Shit in the game that we told them we didn't want for over 2, maybe 3 decades, probably longer than that. What are you talking about? Quit trying to play on people's feelings. Trying to make us feel sorry for a shit company that brought themselves to go under. A shit company that went under because of their own fucking faults.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The proof is indeed in the pudding. And that pudding is the video that you're watching right now where Pizza Dad is literally showing you the screen caps of articles that are showcasing what exactly happened during that time before and after Volition closed their doors. Again, I know you have like this weird hatred for Volition, but it's amazing how the proof is literally in your face, shown to your screen, and you're still in denial about this. If the proof is in the pudding, then I don't want to know where you got your proof from. Just make sure you use the bidet in your toilet, please. That'll be helpful.
It is always a shame to see a development studio be shut down. First of all, because people lose their job. That's terrible.
We don't care. We don't care. You know why? Because they get paid more than any of us. So why should we care? That's like giving a damn that an actress in a movie loses their fucking role. Why should we care?
In and of
Supply and
itself,
demand,
but to see people using their opinions of their work as a justification of why they deserve to lose their income is fucking wild.
And that's not. And then he's not even being real, y'all. He's being disingenuous. Nobody's celebrating because of their work that they lost their jobs. No, people are celebrating because of a shit company that didn't know how to treat their company. I mean, that didn't know how to treat their customers. That's why people are celebrating, because of a shit company that didn't know how to treat their customers. Like I told y'all, talking shit online, haters gonna hate. We're not backing down from this project. Well, people told them they were not interested.
Ah, yes, the infamous haters get a hate gift that everyone freaked the hell out over back in 2021 when the reboot was first announced. Now look, I'm not going to sit here and defend the Saints Row Twitter account for posting that GIF. The person who did post that GIF was completely toxic in her own right for spreading so much hostility towards the Saints Row community and completely damaging the studio's reputation. It was unprofessional for them to do that. I agree with that sentiment. But notice how I never mentioned Volition at all during this. Well, fun fact, the person who did post that tweet and was running the Saints Row Twitter account around that time was someone named Deadly Steph, who was not at Volition at all. In fact, she was working under the Deep Silver umbrella. It was recently confirmed in a video by a user named Mr. SaintsGodzilla21 that Deep Silver was running the Saints Row Twitter account, not Volition.
Well, you might be surprised to learn that none of those comments came from Volition. In fact, it was Deep Silver who's been running Saints Row Social since before the reboot's announcement. So yeah, that doesn't make the comments any better, but for what arguably caused the biggest divide among fans and casual gamers, Volition shouldn't get all the blame for it.
I mean, I understand why some people would think that at first, but even then, the fact that it took people this long to realize this when Deadly Steph's Twitter bio literally labels that she runs the Saints Row Social, alongside with the Metro Social account too, is completely insane to me.
Wild. And the most frustrating thing about it is that Saints Row did okay. There's conflicting reports, of course, but
No, it didn't do okay. If it did okay, it wouldn't have shut doors. Volition would still be an up and running company right now if it did its job. If it did its job correctly, apparently it didn't.
Conflicting reports about the sale numbers specifically for the reboot, so I can't give anyone the estimate number of copies the game sold. Heck, the most I can say is that the game generated 1 million players a couple of months after the game's release. But you can clearly see in the video that Volition's former video editor Josh Stinson claimed that the reboot didn't do horrible when it comes to chain sales. Granted, it wasn't groundbreaking, but nothing that too worrisome either. I know gamers nowadays expect games to reach GTA 5 levels of sales, which is literally impossible for any other kind of game recently. But even games that are decently profitable, regardless of the quality of the game itself, are still able to make bank.
according to somebody who worked at the studio, it was doing okay. It didn't perform as well as Embracer Group wanted, but I think the
Buzz Lightyear to Star Command. Come in, Star Command. Star Command, come in. Do you read me?
Good lord, my guy, did you buy your microphone at a dollar store or something? Or are you using one of your amazing gaming headsets that you spend $130 on? Either way, get a new mic because it sounds to me like you're coming out of a 1950s radio right now.
Thanks for the invite, but I'm too not going.
This franchise has been going on for as long as some of you have been alive. And it's just gone, just done within 24 hours. Not even mentioning the other games that they've ever made, like Red Faction or the Summoner series. I'm gonna be honest, I had to look that one up. They developed the Punisher game, that's insane. The studio just...
But they're mostly known for Saints Row. So those other games don't even fucking matter to the Saints Row community. That means that the Saints Row community was their core fan base. So anybody, I feel for anybody who likes those other games. So, but at the end of the day, you don't blame the Saints Row community. You blame Violation. They fucked up. They fucked up. Not the fans of Saints Row, not the people who simply wanted a real Saints Row game, and to try to make people feel sorry because of these other fucking video games won't get created or anything anymore. That ain't a problem.
I'm going to be frank with you, Chief. If it wasn't for any other game Volition has made, then Saints Row probably wouldn't even be a thing to begin with. If Volition never made Red Faction, which by the way was their other popular game franchise next to Saints Row, then Saints Row would have never even existed. In fact, Saints Row was also the main reason why Red Faction Guerrilla was even a thing too. Look, I'm not saying you have to play those games. It's entirely up to you if you want to play other games Volition has made. And yes, Saints Row is their most profitable game franchise, but you cannot take away the legacy of all their other games that eventually lead them into making Saints Row. Hell, both Saints Row and Red Faction constantly make references between one another, including the reboot, by the way. And they are also making references to other games too, because they want people to experience some other games they made. Again, it's fine if you're not interested in them, but you can't sit here and say that the Saints Row fans don't care about those other games, when even that's a lie, because there are other Saints Row fans that do care about Volition's other games as well, including me. Bro, how can you say no one cares about the Punisher game? That game fucking rocks!
Blame Volition. 200 people's jobs gone in the blink of an eye. And you're
We don't care how many people lost their jobs. That's not our fault. That's not our fault. I don't understand people like this. Y'all said the defenders and people who try to play on your feelings, telling you, oh, people lost their jobs. Do you complain if a fucking an employee at a McDonald's gets fired because they refuse to get your order right? It's not that they can't get it right, it's that they refuse to get it right. You give me your order and they just say, fuck that, we're going to give you what we want to give you. Do you get upset when those motherfuckers lose their jobs? No. So why should we give a fuck about anybody losing their jobs at Violation? Because Violation couldn't fucking listen. Violation didn't want to give people what they wanted.
Comparing work at a game studio, spending millions of dollars on making games, and working at a minimum wage fast food chain is like me comparing Teen Titans Go to the fucking iceberg, my guy. They're two completely separate mediums. One is working at a game studio where you're able to get paid by the studio after every game you make, and the other is just flipping burgers for 8.5 hours on minimum wage. I mean, never mind the fact that the minimum wage job is also a fast food chain with multiple stores open around the world. I mean, yeah, people quitting or getting fired at their jobs at McDonald's and all that kind of stuff almost every day is common. I understand that. But people losing their jobs at a game studio is an entirely different ball field, especially the fact that it's a passion that these people actually want to do. It's something that these people love to do. Also, special shout out for Raven Pines for coming up with that Teen Titans Go and Iceberg comparison. That was just too good for me to use. Also, I want to know what Karen Public Freakout compilation video you were in, because it sounds to me your little McDonald's comparison might be a bit too close to the heart. Guess someone's mad because someone messed up your Big Mac. If you want, we could take another trip to McDonald's, give you some whab burgers and some French fries. I'm going to hell for quoting Kid Rock in a Joe Dirt movie. Oh, this is how low I've become. From there, I'm just going to stop here. The rest of the video is just him repeating the same things he's been saying on and on, from supply and demand, even though he doesn't even know what it means. It's not our fault, and so on and so on. I really have no final thoughts I want to give out, to be honest with you, and since as of me scripting this video, he's still making videos about the game, so it's pretty obvious that the game is living in his head rent-free. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the reboot either. I don't like it, but it drives me so mad that people like this guy would just simply get a bad game stuck inside their minds like it murdered its family or something, and just use the game as a whole as a way to spread their message and ignore a blind eye over reality for what it is. And even if the reboot was a cause of this, and I'm not saying it isn't, it's still very freaking minimal compared to the real reason why Volition closed their doors. Anyways, I'm done with this commentary. It actually feels right to make videos like this again after so long, funny enough. I'm not certain that I'll be uploading videos like this a whole lot, as I still want to focus more on bigger projects like video essays and other retrospectives and stuff like that. But maybe once in a while, I'll pop up here with a new commentary just in case I get bored. That being said, thank you all for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the new year. Take care.